Howdy, friends and floorheads. It is Thursday night for a long overdue return to the Forbidden Lands. It's been way too long now. It's been much longer for Brian, Jim, and Dave. Nate and I got in some good gaming in when we introduced Silva and got a chance to see Silva go from Amber's Peak, working her way to the entrance of the Stone Loom Mines, where our other three are. But there's 2 days that have passed in the time that Nate and I did the one-on-one, so we need to talk about what happened. So we're gonna rewind 2 days since episode 31, 30 and a half. We're gonna have Dalb and Rook in the morning as planned. They are going to help Aldrich head back to the Raven Sisters camp. They're gonna attend to Aldrich there, and then the plan is to then take him to Oakenheart. Dalb has told the three of you that he has another person who he is essentially recruited to join you. Somebody who is understands what's at stake, understands the mission, and has asked you not to finalize any decisions about if you're going to move forward or not until she gets there. But before we cut to Dalbrook and Aldrich leaving, I want to know, is there any moments that we want to happen before we send Aldrich off that morning?
Well, I mean, Sten is certainly gonna want to say, a farewell. I mean, he's not a speechifying man, but he'd definitely kind of as they're loading up. And do they have like a cart or a horse or anything, or is he just going to be hobbling along with them?
So I think I was thinking about that, and I think that they've put together like a cart, like a pull cart. So yeah, so
Okay,
Aldrich is gonna be sitting in the
okay,
process. I figure we'll have something that maybe Rook brought with him when he came down to camp.
okay.
Um, so yeah, I think that that's going to be fine. I guess that I asked the three of these characters if they have something to say. Does Aldrich have any conversations that he wants to have before he leaves?
Man, um, I think.
Yes, pull that mic in close there, boss man.
Sorry. I think at least as far as like as they're kind of loading up everyone's stuff and kind of getting ready to head back towards the Raven Sisters and then onward to Oakenheart. Aldrich is kind of quiet, packing up his gear. Um, very dour in the moment.
And Sten probably just kind of comes over, sort of in the middle of the packing process. He's not going to do a big thing as you're leaving when everybody's watching. Um, but he's just going to kind of be over there. So just kind of cocks his head in the direction of Dalm and Rook. Don't let them give you any shit. And just uh, take care of yourself, and hopefully at some point we'll get back to check on you.
About
And
about right now, Aldrich would kind of almost slump down and wrap his arm around
God damn it!
over
But of
over
course he
Sten's
hugs him
shoulder.
back.
There's just kind of this this grip. It's not like he's not like choking you, but there's like
Oh, good.
just it's just
Yeah,
he doesn't
I
want to
know.
let go.
I know he says, but it's I'm sorry it ended up like this, but
I'm sorry too.
we'll get it done, whatever it is.
I do
Take
have a
care of them, Sten.
Oh yeah.
I have a question for you, Aldrich.
Mhm.
We know that you are done and you are wanting to retire, you want to go back home, right? That's how we got here. Has Aldrich shared what he thinks the other three of you of his friends should do? Or has he kept that to himself or
It probably came up over the course of the couple nights since they've been out of the mine. Um, Aldrich has made it clear that he thinks that there is still a reason for them to be out here. Yeah, I think he's made it clear that there is something that there is a purpose here, and you can kind of tell in this moment that he doesn't necessarily want to leave it, and doesn't want to leave it to just the three of you.
does the fact that Dalb has made it clear that there's someone new coming to join them, do you think that does that comfort Aldrich? Does that does Aldrich feel replaced? How does Aldrich feel about that?
It almost doesn't register
Mm,
just because it's such an unknown, vague entity that he can't. He's glad to hear that there is some kind of help coming, but it's nothing that he can kind of. He doesn't know what form that help is going to take, so he can't. He has to assume that they have to stay tight as a group and keep each other safe, and hopefully whatever newcomer comes is, you know, aligned with that goal.
yeah. So we have the scene of Rook, Dalb, and Aldrich heading north back to the Raven Sister camp. And we essentially have 2 days or 6 quarter days of things that our other 3 characters can do. We're not gonna spend 2 sessions going through that though. So I'd like to get an idea. I'm gonna move the calendar just ahead, but I wanna talk about how do we think each of you would spend those 6 quarter days?
Basila spends a lot of time singing Aldrich's favorite song, the Donkey's Axle, and just like kind of like singing like or remembering it and singing. But she also, I think she also is going to actually spend real time with Sten and like actually listen to his tutelage and learn how to get good with the sling. Like, uh, this has moved from like, oh, we're screwing around the whole time and like a real seriousness about like need to actually have skill at this kind of takes over, and she actually pays attention and doesn't give him shit for like the 2 hours of practice.
Yeah, and Stan is kind of, feeling that. You can tell, during the sport where he's like, now it's just the three of us. So, he's kind of focusing a little more and not being as abrasive as he might be.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Um,
we gonna what are we doing? We're doing a talent, a skill? What are we
yeah,
thinking?
I'm going to pick up the talent thrown weapon, which works for slings. Or sorry, throwing arm. Rank 1 of throwing arm gives me +1 when I use throwing weapons or a sling.
Right.
It costs 3 for the first, and I have 5 experience, so I should be able to pick it up.
Right. So let's go ahead.
Cool.
And
Now,
do
do new talents take a wits roll? Because while I can teach you about aim, I don't actually have that talent.
Yeah, it depends on how Craig would like to play it. I figure with 2 days time, I can roll it out if you would like, but I figured
Nope,
just
I'm
gotta
good with it. I'm
and
good with
wait.
it. So
At some
yeah,
point in 2 days, you figured it out.
Mhm.
yeah. So I went ahead and added a rank 1 throwing arm to
Sweet,
Vasilla
thank
for
you.
you. So we're there. Anything you let's say that you still have another quarter day or so that you want to play with. Is there anything else that you wanted to do during that time?
I'm gonna just reload up on all the herbs and things and get my medical pack affixed, and
Perfect.
I'm gonna make sure to really take time with um, like just to be near Osric as he's doing things and like provide silent companionship, because I think that's the way Osric would uh, need companionship, right? is just to be near someone, like tending fire, right? Like working together to like make a meal, right? Kind of just real in the home, such as it is, kind of activities, right? Washing dishes together, those kinds of like just family bonding kind of things. Make sure we all have meals together. No one wanders off by themselves.
Yeah, I could see a little bit of a circling of the wagons happening where we're going to stay closer than we have before. And I
Sure.
could see it being an unspoken thing, where the three of you just kind of know. So speaking of Osric, I've cleared out your critical for the slash die. Enough,
Yay!
enough time has passed. Um, how is Osric going to spend this time as we wait for this new arrival?
So I think I had this expectation that Sten's gonna hunt for food at some point. Uh, so I think some of Osric's time will be spent figuring out how to use Hardscar in a more effective way.
All right, so
So
what are we picking up?
I'd like to pick up the uh, Axe Fighter talent. Is that what it's called? Axe Fighter? Axe Fighter, the talent. But I don't have anyone to teach me, so I'll probably have to take a roll.
No, well, it's just there's enough time, so we're going to assume it happens. So I've
All
put
right.
in Axe Fighter rank 1 in there, and can we
And
let everybody know what that does?
Axe Fighter rank 1. Oh, look at that. I hit the right button. Popped it out to the chat. It gives you a +1 modifier when you use an axe. The further path does things like let you inflict criticals when you do damage. I think another set of time will be spent foraging for water because I know that Basila is low on water.
Okay,
We as a collective are not swell at that.
so let's go ahead and let's max out your water.
Mm-hmm.
So upgrade your water die.
Done.
Is
And
that
how about
everybody?
yeah, everybody
Cool.
can max their water.
Cool.
And Sten, how are we going to spend our time?
Well, you make a good point. How is everybody on food? I know we just got the boar, but I know we're also kind of low
That's true,
beforehand.
don't have the boar.
I have none because I'm too weak
That's
to
right.
carry
You're
it.
relying on us to carry it for you.
That's
I'm just
right.
at a D8, which is not great. So I think I'll spend at least some time hunting.
Okay, let's go ahead and max out your food die.
Cool. And if I have the time permitting, I would like to learn the first rank of quartermaster.
Ooh, and what's that do?
That does a thing that I should be able to find in the rules, but basically it is the talent for making camp. The first talent is just +1 on making camp dice, and after that it gives benefits to like folks keeping watch in a camp you have made, which has been a recurring problem for us. Thank you. Yeah, that's the one.
Perfect. Yeah, and mechanically, for those of you watching, typically, if the hunting's happening, we would need somebody with the cook talent in order to convert that into die and stuff. We're just going to assume that this is all kind of wishy-washy happening with maybe part of the time while Aldrich is there, and maybe Aldrich converts it to the die and stuff like that. I'm not going to get too bogged down in going through the mechanics of it. Now, one thing new we are going to do, though, is I'm going to start using the hex flower for our weather.
The what now?
Hex flower sounds so pretty.
Yeah,
I feel
so
like we'll hate it.
so this is something I picked up, and it's in the I forget what Free League calls it, but basically it's their part of DTRPG where people can publish things for Forbidden Lands, and someone made a hex flower for Forbidden Lands, and right now I've got you in the center of the hex flower for Spring Rise. And I just need someone to roll 2d6 for me. Let's figure out what our weather's going to be like. Workshop. Thank you, Coda. Yes, the Free League workshop. So someone do a 2d6 for me real quick.
Somebody
Stan,
who's
go.
better at dice than me should do that.
Oh my god, now I gotta figure out how to use dice to it works.
There we
All
go.
right, we got it. So a 3. So our weather today,
It's a little rainy.
it's a little rainy and a little windy.
Of course it is.
All right, so let's set the scene. Late morning. This is now we are on the 41st day of spring rise. And we've got a bit of a drizzle. I think that the ground around the camp is got a small layer of mud. Part of it now is it's been a camp for several days, so it's not like some of the camps that you've made in the past where you're only there for a night. You guys have really kind of set up house a little bit over these last couple days. I think it's the longest period of time you've set outside of something like, Amherst Peak, right? This is you out in the wild for a couple days straight. We've got a fire going in the morning. We'll assume that we've had breakfast, and so we don't need to roll for food or water today. And I'm sure, Sten, you're the one that sees from the south coming over the hill, kind of working their way through what's the remnants of whatever city was here, whatever village, town, or city was here eons ago, because we talked about how this is really a ruins where you're camped out here, and a ruins that's been there so long that, was it a dwarven settlement, was it a human settlement? It's just really not clear. But you see the figure excuse me, of a woman coming up from the south, and you can tell that she has a donkey and a wagon. We're going to go ahead and set her about 200 yards to your south.
Okay. Well, as soon as Ten sees her, he's just going to call out the other two. Incoming. Looks like a peddler.
Yeah, I'll take up like a normal, like kind of just like welcoming, like my face will make like the welcoming smile, like.
And I'll just kind of be sitting on a stump or something, don't have the bow, it's strung, but it's not out.
Sure. And Silva, you've had a pretty crazy day or two, but you're no worse for the wear. You've come out of it okay. You have a companion, not only your donkey, but if I remember correctly, we also met a fox as well. Am I remembering that
That is
correctly?
correct.
And this fox has kind of perched itself on the wagon, and as Dalpa promised, or actually, no, as Marigal had promised, there you can see the smoke from the campfire, that morning campfire, and you can immediately assess and see the three people, the two humans and the halfling that that Marigal told you go around the mountains to the west, follow them to the north, and they'll when you reach the ruins, you'll find them.
Well, Fox, I appear to have found my acquaintances.
I told you she doesn't lie all the time.
No, of course not. I know that. Well, is this where we part ways, or?
Well, if they try to kill me, you'll stop them, right?
I mean, I wouldn't expect them to, but I just didn't know where your business would take you from here. I knew we were
And
traveling in the same way.
as you continue, getting closer to them, it kind of clicks in your head that as soon as you were close enough that your destination tribe ahead of you would be able to see this fox, is when it disappears and you see it kind of skulk into the wagon and kind of get under the leather tarp that you have over that, and it just kind of hides away so that it's not immediately apparent and visible as you get close enough to where it could be spotted.
Okay. So I will kind of shrug and continue onward then. Assuming I'm in I can kind of clearly see over where Vasilla is sitting waiting, and
Yeah, I don't think any of
I-
us are hiding.
I see someone waiting. Yep, I see a wave and a smile and wave.
And let's give a quick description of what Osric, Sten, and Vasilla are seeing. Can we describe Silva for them?
Yeah. Silva would be, she's kind of a fairly average height from where you're at, probably estimating somewhere in the 5'6", 7" range-ish. Slightly tanned skin, a mess of kind of messy brown hair on the top of her head. Soft features, as much as you can make out from the distance, and wearing fairly nice garments with like a royal blue with golden edging on it, and a bright smile and a wave back to Vasilla. Alongside her is a sturdy-looking gray donkey carrying a small two-wheeled cart that seems to be loaded down with a number of things, including a rather large backpack.
See, I told you she'd be nice. I'll stand up and start walking at you like, hi,
Well, hello there.
hi. What are you
It's, uh,
doing out here?
Well, I am looking for the three of you, in fact.
Oh, you must be. I'm like looking at
Silvador. And she
Silva.
kind of leans forward and offers a hand.
I look up in her eye, like really look at her eyes, and I'm like, oh,
You would notice,
not
so Silva has very silvery blue eyes.
oh.
Notably not
Notably
yellow.
not
Yes.
golden yellow.
That's important. Like as soon as the conversation that goes on, and when Silva says, "I've been looking for you," and Vizsla says, "Oh, Sten," his face does that sort of slow crashing thing because he was assuming that this was just a peddler who was going to come by and try and sell us some stuff, and then our adventurer was going to be coming down the road later
with a giant axe and
And
armor.
exactly, or a staff of
7-foot
power or
barbarian with two
something.
axes.
You took the thought right out of my
and-
brain.
And he just quietly says to himself, "This is our help." But he shakes his head and starts approaching.
Can I interest you in some tea?
Oh, I would love some tea, dear.
Excellent. And for your
Been quite the
for your
journey.
friend, I'll like start rooching around to find like some kind of root. Like I found like a potato or something like that was like cutting up that I left like was still in my hand. I try to give it to your donkey.
Oh well, he won't say no, that is for sure. And she gives him a solid pat. Come along, Thundercloud.
Thundercloud. What a great name for a donkey! A noble steed.
Indeed. He's been with me for many a year. But please, let's make our way to your lovely camp.
I
and
look. I
I'll
take a minute
explain
and
more.
like look very closely at the donkey's eyes too.
Bright yellow.
So I'll escort her down. And what kind of tea would you like? We have this and this and this and this and this and gray leaf and blue vein. And do
Oh
you like it
please, whatever's handy.
5
That's
minutes
why
tea?
Vasilla can't carry anything. She's got 8 cans of tea in her backpack.
Do you
No
take
room for
honey
food,
with
it's
your
all leaves.
tea?
Oh, I mean, please, if you have some.
Yeah, in fact, I have something even better. There's this neat root called blue blah 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 blah. And this is Sten. He's grumpy.
Afternoon.
Sten.
And this is
Sylvedor. And
Osric.
she offers a hand again to Sten.
Osric's the best of us.
Pleasure.
Best of us. Hail and well met. I hope you brought some sturdier clothes for delving into the mines.
But these are more roadworthy than they might appear.
Not everyone needs to look like they're a schlub on the side of the road, Osric.
I suppose that's true.
It's a pleasure to finally make an acquaintance with all of you after the events at Amber's Peak.
Oh, you heard about that, did you?
Your neighbor's
I
Pete?
was there actually.
Yeah.
Um,
How
nasty
are
business that.
how are things doing there?
They've been better, understandably, but the people of the peak are doing their best. But much is up in the air given everything that has happened.
Well,
Marigal tells me that you all could use a hand.
Mm-hmm. So, so what's your area of expertise, if I may ask? You a wizard?
Unfortunately, no.
Hmm.
I have a number of slight talents, but I'm I'm just the kind of person that always kind of has what someone needs.
Hmm.
To put it simply, which I know
Okay.
doesn't sound so impressive with the
Few of
Well,
us.
believe me, there's been a time when
unfortunate.
when I was out of arrows, and it would have been damn helpful then.
I don't suppose a sense of humor and/or memory is in that pack of yours.
Oh, of course, I love a good joke.
Mm.
That makes at least two of us. We'll get along fine.
So actually, kind of as a show of good faith, I think Silva would use her Path of Many Things talent, which I will throw into the chat. I'm going to spend a willpower, and she's going to, in fact, speaking of arrows, and she kind of goes rooting into her giant backpack, and I think, and she kind of starts like she really kind of gets in there and
Hmm.
starts like pulling stuff, and eventually she like
While
pulls
she's
out
in there, I'm just looking at the other two. I'm like,
and just pulls out a bundle of arrows, and
Uh,
for you, sir,
do arrows
to
count as
refresh your
weapons?
stock.
I don't know if you can do arrows yet.
I'm good
Nope,
with this. I'm good with
arrows are a
this.
trade
okay.
good.
Oh,
I mean,
good.
and I'm at D10 out of D12, so I don't need
We'll just
many. But
yep, she just stocks you back up.
huh.
What's your assessment, Sten, of these arrows that she pulls out?
Well, I mean, I definitely sort of, I'm not gonna, when I receive a bunch of free arrows, I'm like, thank you. And then I sort of, as she's going over to the camp, getting the tea, I'm kind of turning them around the other way and sighting down the thing, and they're perfectly cromulent arrows.
Perfectly standard
Excellent use
iron-headed
of a vocab
arrows.
word.
I might sharpen them a little bit just because they've been in the bottom of the sack
Been
for
in
a
the
while,
bag,
but
get
they look
rustled around a
good.
little bit.
Yeah. All right then.
Well, let's take us to the second quarter day.
Mhm.
And there has been, well, how much discussion has happened before Silva got here? Have just any types of decisions been made or thoughts been made? Dalb said, don't do anything or finalize anything until she gets here. But what have the three of you discussed, do you think?
I feel like Osric is really like almost chomping at the bit to get back into these mines. I think that uh we left this dwarf, and I think like from the very moment that we sort of abandoned this person, I think he began to have second thoughts about that he should have gone with him. And so like every quarter day, every day is just like so like we've just left this poor person in these mines to forage for horrible bug pieces and whatever else that he's been dealing with. And so I think Osric is uh, definitely a pro lit. We have to go back and we have to see what we can do to help this person.
Yeah. Sten probably hasn't talked about it a lot, but I mean, from the last discussions we had, he was definitely on that same page. So his philosophy is basically, all right, let's wait until our next hero comes along, and then we can go down into the mines and deal with things. I don't know what Vassy feels about it.
Yeah, think it needs to be done.
So, quick question then for the three of you before we discuss this with Silva. Our original purpose for going into the mines was to try to retrieve this clasp, right? This
Mhm.
this other ruby. elven ruby that goes along with the scepter, but it sounds like that's become secondary. It is our new reason for going into the mines to try to find Milva and any other survivors.
I mean, that stands priority just from a time perspective. Because from what we saw, and there's a lot of the mines, I got the impression there's a fair bit of the mines that we haven't even looked at yet.
Yeah.
So it could be a long-term project. But he would like to try and get the dwarves saved as much as possible. And then, if as part of that, or if we're still in good shape after that and can go after this ruby, great.
And let's assume that all of this is thus shared with Silva, right? That
Mhm.
here's what happened. Here's why we went to the mines. Here's what we encountered. As we left, we encountered this barely there dwarf who was emaciated and not well, but yet still killed one of these insectoid creatures that you fought before you decided to before your compatriot Aldrich was severely injured in that encounter. Um, does Silva share her thoughts? Does she have any thoughts, or is it just like I'm here for your bidding? Where's Silva in this conversation as it happens?
I think Silva's very intently listening. Like this is kind of why she is here. And she would kind of I forget what I was going to add to that.
Well, the only thing to give context for Silva is Marigal has made it clear that collecting these rubies is the only chance
Right.
that not only you have of surviving, but of this world surviving, right? And if you don't take care of this, then Zytera will destroy all that is of any good or worth in Ravensland.
Yeah.
So
I think she would be encouraging, like, yeah, we should get in there and help these dwarfs then.
Well, then we
Sounds like a
probably
bad situation.
shouldn't wait any longer. I know you've been on the road for a while, but as soon as you feel up to it,
I should be quite all right. I managed to get a decent night's rest the other night.
all right then.
The only other thing I can think is that at some point in this discussion, I feel like we would talk about the fact that like Dalb said you would help us, and I don't know if Silva knows or has any concept of what Dalb is versus Marigal.
so when when the discussion of the yellow eyes, when the discussion of Marigal, you have figured out, right? Dalb made it clear that Dalb is Marigal, Marigal is Dalb.
Right.
There's no hiding that at this point. It was also made clear that Marigal has children, literal children, spawn, spread throughout Ravensland, Rook being one of them. And Aldrich saw firsthand how Marigal has this ability to essentially relocate herself to these beacons, to these children. And though Silva, you've only ever interacted with Marigal, there's been enough double talk, hints. There were two yellow-eyed children in Amber's Peak that Marigal would spend time with, and it was clear that they were children of Marigal. When the group kind of says, like, do you know, no, or like some of it's news to you, but none of it surprises you.
Yeah.
So the fact that Marigal has taken the form of someone else like Dalb is like, I haven't seen that yet, but I could definitely see it in their wheelhouse.
It's within her character for sure.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So, do you want to change into something, I don't know, more mine-ish? or are you going like that?
I should probably leave the robe behind. It's probably a bit much since we're delving in. And she'd probably actually remove the robe, and she's got a set of well-fitted leather armor underneath.
Okay. Sten nods approvingly at that.
And Noble Steed, is he all right out here?
Yeah, he'll be fine. He's an intelligent creature. He will mind his own, and I shan't expect he'll go too far off.
Yeah, and I think for Thundercloud, he will stay until you come back, right? So there's a you don't need to tie him down. You don't need to keep him attached to the cart.
Yeah.
And let's go ahead and say that the longest you have left him to his own devices is maybe 3 days.
Sure.
So you know that 3 days he will stay alive and keep himself safe under normal circumstances, and you've come back 3 days later and he's been there. You haven't gone beyond that, so that's an unknown, but there's nothing to lead you to believe that it couldn't be 4 weeks, right? And the donkey, he has a loyalty to you that it would have to be a good time test before I think the donkey would ever abandon you.
Yeah, I think Silva has a great deal of trust in Thundercloud, and vice versa.
All right. We need to get any rope or anything out of your wagon before we go? Any mine exploring?
So there's a
Stuff.
lot of stairs. You should know that
She
there's like a lot.
hikes up the backpack. I should be able to wing it.
Like a lot, though.
Okay.
Like a lot.
A lot.
Should be able to wing it. So one detail I'd like to add, and tell me if you're okay with this, is the three of you do take a bit of a pause at the size of this pack that Silva puts on her back.
All the nonsense and knickknackery that hangs off of the sides of it.
Yeah, and the trinkets and things like that.
Knick-knackery?
But I think what is most not startling, but moment for the three of you is the ease in which Silva is able to put on this pack and carry this pack. And you immediately recognize the fact that maybe she's a little bit hardier than her frame would first lead you to believe. She is able to sling this pack and carry herself with that weight, as well as Osric had he thrown it onto his back.
You know what she reminds me of? Old lady Mata out in the farm. Do you remember her? She used to be able to bale that hay like crazy. She was such a tiny little thing. I mean, not as petite and awesome as I am, but like a smallish human, smaller than you at least, you beefcake.
Oh gosh.
All right, new Mata, let's go.
So Silva would probably tuck the wagon away somewhere, cover it up with the tarp, and
Yeah, cover it with some. You find some foliage, some bushes, right. That somebody would have to do a lot of poking around. I think to find that. And as a reminder, this mine entrance is this. It almost looks like this gaping toothless mouth, the way that it's shaped, and one gate is kind of broken half off. The other gate is pretty much fused, rusted closed. And as the four of you go in, if you remember, it starts and it just goes straight into the mountain. And as it gets in, you light. Well, I guess that's the question, right? Is I guess Silva, we need to move the lantern over to you. Is that right?
I was gonna. Do we want to bring the lantern, or are we okay?
I don't know.
Torches. As a
I
party.
mean,
We have
I'm
torches.
not
Torches
carrying
of-
it, but
Wait. Oh, who would carry the torch? He asked.
Silva can carry a torch.
Oh, there you go.
I can
at that.
carry a torch. I cannot carry the stock of torches.
That seems
I
I will
think
be happy
I
to
think
give
we'll
you a torch from my collection.
we'll go with torches for
Okay.
this one. We'll leave the lamp and the oil back at the on the cart.
So as the light quickly ends, right? And you get into these passageways, and it seems like as the darkness closes in and the light goes away, it feels like the walls do as well as you kind of start taking your turns through this. Let's go ahead and decide who's holding the torch and who's going to roll for the torch.
I'll hold.
just start off. I'll start off with Silva.
Okay, let's do a torch roll.
Perfect.
And we've got Vasilla with the torch, and it creates this small globe of light. And once that light extends and ends, it is pure darkness. Now, unlike the first time, we have gone down and come back. So there's a certain level of familiarity, a certain speed in which you're able to get to, if you remember, the huge staircase down.
Mhm. Told you.
Yeah, a lot of stairs.
And just so you know, we may be contending with ghosts and bugmen and some kind of giant worm beast.
Yeah, but
Don't
we
forget
killed
the
that
lizard
thing.
men.
Oh, lizard men. Yeah, no, yeah, we got those. We got
And the
those.
shadow imp things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well,
Uh-huh,
quite the
uh-huh,
menagerie
uh-huh.
then.
Yep.
Yeah, but they were like big. Like these lizard men were like big as Osric and probably another, I don't know, half as big as he is. Big ripply muscles, really smelly breath, in like a bog of like gnarly, like filth.
Mhm.
Now, lass, don't frighten her off. And I think Osric's gonna head down these stairs. I think he has Heartscar and his shield out.
And we see this conversation of updating Silva on the contents of what's ahead as we see you, the four of you, work your way down single file down this zigzag of stairs. And it instinctively, you always seem to be hugging the wall to your left side and favoring the left side of these stairs because to the right is nothingness. And it is, easily a good 15 feet to the other side of this shaft. So there's a solid like 10 foot of nothing between that if we were to slip and to fall, we would go down. And this takes a good quarter day. It takes several hours for you to work your way. We get to the point where we were before, where the stairs stop. And if you remember, there was the portal, the doorless entryway that took you into the mines where you were before. But if you also remember, there was a door on the other side of the shaft. That's a good 15 feet on the other side, a door that you never reached and never got to.
Right, and there was no like pathway around this ledged space to get there, right?
No, and not only that, but there was no indication that there used to be one, right? So there's
Mhm,
no indication that there was some sort of land bridge that
mhm.
that went across. Now, at some point, maybe there was something maybe made of wood or rope that has long decayed away and gone away. But
When you say entryway across the shaft, is it like a doored entryway or just another hole in the wall?
another a portal without a door, right?
Mhm.
So, and it's almost identical to the one that you've gone through previously.
Well,
No, we can't even fly across, so I don't think we need to worry about that door yet.
uh, well, we would need to chase the survivor, right?
Right. Uh, which is
To the left.
back this way, right?
So you head back to a place that you were before. Now, when you were here last time, you encountered those little demon. And if you remember, as you came into this antechamber, there was what appears to be a place where mining carts were either assembled or repaired or put together. All of that is there. There is evidence of the fight that you had with these small demons, but no, you don't hear or see anything of them as you come into this antechamber. Again, you're only limited to the light that extends from the torch. To the left was the passageway that led over to where you ended up encountering our lizard friends,
Hmm.
and where we also encountered what that chapel. So as you head, if you were to head down that hallway, that
Right.
led to that really odd place that was obviously at some point some sort of chapel. It had the bizarre light crystals up on the roof,
Right.
and,
That had like a
and
childlike sing-song quality when we docked with it, right?
right, and that's where you encountered this mass, this oozy mass that also seemed to be tied to this childlike voice. Heading
Right.
that way.
Uh-huh.
I think it's our best bet.
Down and through. If nothing crazy happens as we get there, I'm not
Yeah.
stopping to poke
Mhm.
around there again.
Yeah, no, we don't need to mess with it.
So it's as you left it. The torch is not needed once you get to this chapel. You've got, if you remember, these worn pews that led to a door or a hall to your right. This is where the what appeared to be the lair of of these lizard men, where you've also found that ooze, that primordial ooze that they seem to be camping around. And then continuing to the south of you is where you would head towards, where very close to where you encountered the cliff. And then the cliff is where you then went towards the tombs. So as you quickly move through the chapel, you look up, and when you looked up before is when you saw kind of this layer of this ooze before you realize what it was. It's not there. All you see are these crystals that seem to be emanating this light that's lighting up this chapel area. Are we going to go back to where we saw the dead end, where we saw our lizard men in the primordial ooze, or are we headed towards the tombs where we saw our dwarf?
So the survivor guy that we had run into said that they had gone down the cliff, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and
And
gone to some kind of room, right? With
yeah, and I
with
think we've seen the cliff.
we
I don't
saw
think
the
we
cliff
went
and we
down it or
avoided it,
anything, but
right?
we're
Yeah.
aware of it. Let's try and find our way back there and see if it's something we can climb down.
Can
Yeah, I think
you track this dude with his like bug bits?
I mean, I can certainly try.
Yeah, let's do a survival roll. Let's see whether Sten has a sense of, since we've been gone for the last
Mhm.
2-3 days, is there any sign that our emaciated dwarf has been here, has traveled anywhere? I'm good with that. Just a -1 because of the darkness and the conditions.
Okay, I was just checking to see if any of my talents apply to a generic survival roll, and they don't. So, survival -1. Roll.
good job.
One success. I'll take it.
Yes, you get to this cavernous area, and to the left is the continuation of the mine shaft that takes you to the tombs that we did not explore, and then farther down to where we ended up finding this insectoid nest, or at least encountering these insectoids. And as we described before, it appears that there was s- a digging effort that was happening right to the south. That as you get to the edge of this and look down, as far as the torch can go, you can see about a good 15, maybe 20 feet down, and you see the remnants of some ladders that were obviously used to go from level to level to small little areas where the digging was continuing. Looking at these ladders, none of the four of you would feel comfortable using any of them, right? In order to go down this. And it's not just a sheer drop, it's almost like a decline, right? So with time and care, you could work and navigate your way down this escarpment without a roll needed. If you wanted to put any type of speed behind it, you would. Now, I want to address this success on the survivor roll. Sten, you see the remnants of the carcass here. You can tell that somebody, likely our friend, has then worked his way down this as well. So as you look down, you can see fresher footholds, you can almost follow his path as he worked his way down, not using the ladders, but staying close to the ladders. It's likely, based as best as you can tell, that after you left at some point, he returned back down.
Mm-hmm. So, and about how far down is this cliff or
You
this
can
slope?
you can see 20 feet, but you're not
Mhm.
seeing the bottom.
Okay. Because I was thinking, while we might be able to climb down, I would kind of like to have some rope as a handhold or guide. I only have 10 meters thereof, which doesn't sound like it's likely to go all the way down.
Can
Does
we
anybody else have any rope?
can we put in like
I
uh
can have rope.
I have a
Uh,
lyre and a tent.
Uh,
Just unravel the tent. It'll be fine.
I don't know, just tie the lyre strings together. It'll be fine.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
Can we-
maybe what
Kill me if I break the lyre.
I mean, if we can try and drive some kind of stake in at the top,
Mhm.
and get the rope down and at least see how far down it goes. See if we get to the bottom of it, how far does it leave us?
and we can make like easy somewhere to hook in at that length so that we can like make
Yeah.
Well, there's two things. One thing very quickly that I
Mhm.
should have done and I didn't do, and we're gonna rewind time just a little bit with you, Silva. Um, your fox friend at some point has a conversation with you and offers to come in your pack, but it says, I need to know your friends better before they know of me. But if you'd rather I stay with the wagon, I can do that as well.
Hmm.
What do you think you tell your friend?
I mean, I wouldn't ask you to come into the mine. That's no place for a fox.
So you think we maybe left it up there?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't think I would have fox try to come into the.
And it
Into the
doesn't
mine.
try to push you in either direction. It truly looks to you for that decision. So we'll leave the fox there. Now the next piece though is if we're going to use this rope to stake at the top, no roll needed. You can have it go down the 15 or so feet worth of rope that you have.
Mhm.
If all four of you work your way the way down, I don't know how comfortable I feel about you retrieving that rope.
No,
and
no,
it
no. I'm
being a
assuming it will stay here so we can
Yeah,
get
Got
down.
it.
The
Got it.
idea
Yeah.
being that we would be able to climb back up the rope
Right.
once we
Yeah,
get
and it's
to this
10
point
meters, so
again.
it's about 30 feet. And
Yep.
again, we'll see how close that gets us to the bottom if we can.
Great.
And if we need more, I can do that.
All right, so I'm going to need 4 move rolls, but it's going to be at a +2 because of the rope. So let's start
Okay.
off with who is the first one that's going to go down.
Fine. I'll go. I think as he makes his way down, he's gonna sort of whisper, "Master Dwarf," uh, as he goes to see if he catches his attention, and hopefully he doesn't slip and fall.
And is Osric going into darkness? Is Osric going to also have a torch?
Well, how about this? Can we toss a torch down, or would that be
No, you can definitely.
dangerous? I don't know if there's anything
No,
flammable down there.
you
Could be
can definitely
dangerous.
do
You don't
that.
know what's down there.
Now,
That's true.
if we're gonna try to toss the torch down and have it, say, land on one of the landings that are roughly cut as it heads down, we'll probably need a roll for that. So
Sure. No, I was thinking of just trying to get it to the bottom, so we have an idea of how far the bottom is,
if
and
you
then
want to throw a
maybe if it
torch to
stays
see if you
lit,
can get a sense of that, we can do that as well. You want
yeah,
to do that?
I'll give that a try.
All right. So
Murders a
Stan,
random number.
give me a torch roll, and
Yep, I've already
let's
marked off the rope.
throw the damn thing down.
Yep.
So we see Sten light the torch, kind of get to the edge as we're working the rope, and he just kind of throws it. And you throw it out far enough, Sten, that it's going to not land on
Mhm.
anything that you can see from the
As far as
torch
I can tell, yeah.
that Vasilla is holding. And you see the torch go, and it falls. Your best guess is maybe 60 feet because
Hmm.
though you can't see anything that it's illuminating, you
Mhm.
can still see when the light stops falling,
Okay.
right? So you can see the torch land. It's not in any way giving you any indication what it landed on or what's near it,
Mhm.
right? You can just barely see 60 feet down where the torch stops falling.
Yeah,
So
that's
roughly
more
60
than
feet.
we had. So yeah, if we get one more length of rope, I think we'll be in good shape.
You got it. Still, once they kind of reach back and there it is. Pull out another bundle of 10 meters of rope.
All right, well, tie
Beautiful.
them together and toss them down.
All right, let's do that. So, Ostrich, it sounds like you're going down first. Are we going down torch or torchless? You'll be at a +2 on your move without a torch, at a +1 with a torch.
I.
Well, let's ask that. Who's a good climber?
Uh,
I'm actually pretty good with move when my ribs aren't broken.
Oh, I'm sure
So
you're a
I'm
better
willing to
climber
go
than I
down
am.
first if you want, and I can do it with a torch.
Sure.
All right. And if something is down there, I'm pretty good at hiding myself if need be.
With
All
your
right, so I'm
torch.
going to light myself another torch and start clambering down. So it's a move at +1, you
This will be
say?
a move +1 because of the rope,
Yep.
but a slightly awkward because we're also trying to maintain a
Mhm.
torch as we work our way down.
Yep, you got it. No, that's boring. So I'll push it.
Okay.
Okay. There.
All right. So, Sten, there's kind of two ways you can do this.
Mhm.
You could do this with the rope and the torch with your back to this steep incline or decline, or you can kind of go mountain style, facing it and kind of working your way down with your back to
Mhm.
which way do you think you're doing? Because it's enough of a decline that you can almost slide your ass down and kind of maintain the rope as you go,
Mhm.
or you can kind of mountain climb down.
I think while he is he knows that his friends are going to be keeping an eye out. He's just not the kind of guy that wants to go backwards into the unknown. So it's going to be a little slower, but he's going to do it facing downhill.
Yeah. And you get about halfway down, and Sten, I want to understand the push, right? So let's understand what
Mhm.
happens and what causes the push. So let's go about 15 feet down. What happens?
Well, I think he's getting down there. Um, there's probably just a shot where, and I'm guessing this is stuff that has been here for a very long time,
Yes.
and I'm thinking he just puts his foot on something that looks like a foothold or a little crevice, and it just shoots out from under him, and he just does one of those things where he kind of grabs onto the rope and the torch is flailing around, and he just sort of takes a minute, recovers his calm, repositions himself around. I'm fine, and resumes his slow descent. doing a little bit more care to test something before he puts his weight on it again.
And there's two major landings as you work your way down. It's almost every 10 feet, it looks like,
Mhm.
where these ladders, so these are about 10-foot ladders as you're working your way to where that ladder stands. You go down to the next one, and where the knot of the rope ends and the
Mhm.
next rope starts, right? Where they connect right around that 30 feet is a good like 6 foot deep level area. Almost big enough that if you wanted to set up camp, you could here,
Mhm.
if you wanted to. And based on how far down that now that you're farther down, you can still see the torch as it kind of starts to die out on its
Mhm.
own at the very bottom of this. If you put the torch down here, everybody will have enough light at the top and at the bottom. So they would be at a +2 as they do their move down, but you can kind of stop here if you want to give them the light that they need to meet you
Yeah,
halfway.
that's just what I was thinking. I'll put the torch here, in a dry spot well away from where the rope is, and then light up another one to go the rest of the way
There
down.
goes my Wile E. Coyote sequence.
I
All right,
spend a
so
willpower to pull a sign that says "Help" out of my bag.
all right, so Sten lodges that kind of into the earthworks that are here.
Mhm.
And Sten, you kind of check out what's safe, what's not safe, make sure that
Mhm.
everybody's going to get to a landing zone that's pretty secure so they don't have the kind of the slip up that you had
Mhm.
about halfway down here. Who's next? Who's going to do a move +2 to get down to Sten?
I'll follow him down. Move +2, move +2 for gear, we'll say. Roll.
Perfect.
So Vasilla works her way down, gets to where Sten is. Who's next?
After you, last.
Very
Othric won't.
gentlemanly of you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna leave her unattended up here alone. There could be terrifying monsters.
There could be terrifying monsters down here, I'm just saying.
Yeah, but we
But
didn't walk
then
into
she's
some
with
mine with
you.
them.
You can protect her from the terrifying
Uh-huh.
monsters. Whereas if we leave her alone at the top, she
Oh,
could be
look at that.
snatched away.
For
It's
just a
natural.
moment, I imagined that Silva failed the push and just showed up, launched out to the world.
Ow.
Critical injury.
No.
Broken spine.
Broken
What,
foot.
why are you rolling
No.
dice, Craig?
I didn't know I was.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So Silva, you get down there, leaving Osric at the top. So we've got one last person to make our way to kind of this halfway point as we work down this escarpment. So let's go ahead and have Osric do a move +2.
Oof,
That boy move.
it's a
God
mountaineer.
dang.
So
Uh,
as we see Sten work his way down, miss a foothold, but recover and make it down there, Vasilla almost mockingly has no trouble following Sten and getting down there at almost twice the speed that Sten did. We see Silva again, surprising her physicality is a little surprising because again, it belies the cloths that she was wearing, the role that she has in this world. She makes her way down. What's different the fourth time? So, Osric, you have no difficulty making your way down, and I'd like to know if you have a sense of why.
I think part of it is that rather than going down forwards, he went down backwards. One, because he trusts that his friends are behind him keeping watch, and two, because he can keep watch for anything coming from the other direction. And I think that might make this a little easier. Uh, and two, I think he's probably comfortable with ropes and sort of a little bit of the adverse terrain, just from his general sort of I don't want to say outdoorsmanship because he's certainly not the outdoorsman that Sten is, but his pre-adventure travels. You're rolling more dice, Craig.
I just do that when I'm
Mhm.
bored.
Yeah.
You make it halfway. Sten, when you look at the next leg, which you being halfway is this next leg down,
Mhm.
you're now far enough down that you can see a little bit more of what that torch that you threw was lighting up there, and you can see that this opens up to a floor, right? So this is no longer a series of levels. This is
Oh, good.
a floor that then extends out south beyond where you can see, because the shaft that you're working your way down ends. And I don't need a roll for the second level,
Mhm.
because it's far the earthwork is far more developed, as the four of you head down. One at a time, let's say the same order. Sten goes first. When you guys get there, unlike what you have seen before, which is we assume dwarves have carved into this mountain, have dug out the stone and the soil, and then reinforced it with stone to create these passageways and these archway doors that you've worked your way through. Now, when you work your way down here, it's a little bit closer to the unfinished dugout areas that you saw before. In fact, where you found this nest of insectoids, it's far more similar to that. And as you're going down this second set, the bottom half of this passageway, you are seeing tunnels dug in to your left and your right that are small. Vasilla could work her way into one of them, but it would be much more difficult for an Osric Silva or a Sten. It would be a tight fit for you to get into these passageways that are off to the left and to the right as you're working your way down.
So do
As
these
you
look like
go
sorry, do
ahead,
these look like
please.
dug tunnels like this is like an actual area where mining was being done, or is it more like burrows?
Thinking about that way too long, Craig.
Yeah, I think it looks different, right? So it doesn't look as engineered,
Okay.
right? As the earthworks that you're working your way down. So I think instinctively everybody's thinking insectoid,
Mhm.
right? Because of the similarities to what you saw before.
Yeah.
And these are in the incline to our left and right, or like
Well,
on
Once it
walls to
flattens
the
imagine
out.
to the walls to the left and
okay.
to the right, and there's you see about two of them as you worked your way down off to your right, and one of them as you worked your way down to the left. Now, the age of these seem very similar to the earthworks that you've been working your way down. So these were dug similar. They're not fresh. They weren't made yesterday.
So once we all get down here, the first thing Stan is going to want to do is just kind of hold up a hand and try and just listen for 30 seconds or so.
So you're going to hear a few things. Let's talk about what you see as you finally reach down there. You pick up and you kind of taking the torch around in front of you to the side of you, just to kind of see what's in front of you. You see again a rough dugout passageway to your right. You see the same to your left. Once everybody gets there, Sten is just like, stop moving, be quiet. And Sten, you hear to your left water. Somewhere to your left, there's running water,
Okay.
moving water, right? Very difficult to get a sense of what it is. It's not a drip drip though. It sounds like if you're near a brook or even a waterfall, maybe it's tough to tell,
Mhm.
right? If this is horizontal water, vertical water, what's going on there? The way the water is the sound of that water is echoing, and you're only hearing this with the silence. If we start moving again, we're going to lose this. This is a very low ambient sound. And it bounces off these walls not as well as if it was stone, if this was carved and finished area, but it's difficult to get a sense of. It takes Sten a while to realize this is coming from the left, because initially it's like the way the sound is bouncing, it's tough to tell, right? But you figure it out. And to the right, you can tell that this extends to the right for a good bit, the way that the sound is bouncing, and Vasilla moves her foot and makes a rock tumble down a little bit. And so you can tell that there's definitely chambers and openings to the right, and water to the left. And in that silence, the water, the bouncing, and the movement. And Sten, you can't see what's causing this second sound to happen, but you can tell outside of the view of this torch that there's movement happening. And it's tough to tell what it is, but it's here. You can't see it. You can't locate where it is, but there's things that are moving. And somehow it's not insectoid, right? It's not a large sound that you recognize as you were approaching that area. It is something else. It's scurrying, and when you go silent, a half step later, the scurrying stops as well.
Well, Sten's reaction when he hears that is to basically toss the torch he's holding off to like the edge of the light that they've got now to try and expand the circle, roughly in the direction of where the noises are, and get out his bow.
You toss the torch out to extend the field of view. Ostrich, you immediately recognize Sten's stance is changing. Right, he's gone into a battle defensive stance instinctively without Sten saying a word. You know what that means. I imagine you're reaching for your axe.
Absolutely, the axe and shield.
As the torch extends out, as you see now the south wall. And remember, we have chambers to the right, water to the left, and
So
now
south is ahead. Okay.
Yeah, south is where kind of this chamber ends, where you've landed. That's when you see their eyes. Small red glowing eyes of the same little demons that you encountered before. There's at least 4 of them. Let's take a quick 10-minute break.
Oh.
Osric has armed himself. Sten has gotten himself ready. We see these lesser demons appearing again. Let's go ahead and draw for initiative. So I will start combat. All right, you guys should be able to draw. Actually, let me make sure I've reset the deck. So give me just 1 second. All right, we should be all set. You guys should be able to highlight your token and draw.
One card only.
Someday. Someday.
It's all that beard and hair and stuff.
All right, so we got a 5 for Osric, a 2 for Vasilla, a 3 from Sten, and a 4 from, or no, I'm sorry, 2 from Osric. Wait, hold on.
I was like, what is
I
happening?
don't know where you're getting those
Yeah.
numbers from.
Yeah,
Where did that
2,
5 come from?
2 from Osric, a 6 from Vasilla, a 7 from Sten, and a 9 from Silva. Why do I have it as, is it Silva or Silva?
It should be Silva.
Silva, so we need to
Like
change
Sylvia,
that.
but without the I.
All right, so hold on.
Typing hard.
Yeah, I
Can't
wonder
leave
why
you
it says
anywhere, man.
Silva. So let's hold on.
That's
Let's,
interesting because it says Silva on.
yeah, I see
on
the
the
typo.
card.
Hold on.
Huh.
All right.
You had like 2 months to get this ready, Craig.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started.
You did it all last night.
Or really early this morning. He was too busy taking candid photos with you there, bucko.
We had a lovely dinner.
We did have a nice dinner.
How many games did you buy immediately afterwards, Brian?
I was just
Actually,
the opposite.
I think I got him on 1 or 2.
Yeah, there's a game that he showed me that I'm bringing with us. That I ordered in time for camping.
Nice.
Oh, so many rolls.
All right, so we've got Osric first at 2, and then we've got 3 of our 5 demons. We've got then Vasilla, Sten, another demon, and then Silva and a demon. You guys get to change the order.
Is low good in this game?
It is.
Low is
Yeah.
yeah.
I can go 9 if you'd like.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know what your fighting capabilities are, Silva.
She can hit pretty good.
All right. I mean, I'm happy to shoot at things, which is basically all I do. I guess the question is,
Yikes.
should Osric go first, because then he would have to run up and then be in front of them, whereas if I go first, they will have to come to
Shot
us,
off.
which might be
So,
better.
clarifying question: Are we all on the ground, or
You are on the ground.
Okay. Wasn't sure if it was just Sten on the ground.
Yeah, I think we all made it down.
Yep, you all made it down.
I guess relative to us, are they far, near?
Everybody would have to make a fast action to get engaged with each other. So these things would have to take a fast action to engage you, and vice versa.
Yeah,
They're crawling around the walls.
Yeah.
And
lovely.
it's those same toothy little tiny black demons that are about a little bit smaller than Vasilla.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Osric, what
like
do you think
Sten
about the
going
two of us
first.
switching? Okay, cool.
All right, so we're gonna do Sten at 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna put Osric at 7, or is it gonna put Osric at 6? It's gonna take Vasilla's spot.
That's fine with me.
Sure.
All right, so that's Sten, Osric, and then Silva and Vasilla are going to switch places.
Sure.
If
works
you'd
for me.
like
Right.
to. Yep.
All right, Sten.
All right. Well, let's see what we can make happen here. I'm gonna shoot the closest one.
Yeah, so let's set the scene little bit here. We've got 2 torches running right now. We can see that there's 5. Some of them we can see their black bodies with their little tiny black wings kind of crawling around with those glowing red eyes and those toothy maws. At any point in time, you can see about 3 of them. The other 2, you can
Mhm.
just see the eyes. So
Yeah, I'll just take whichever one I think I have the clearest shot at
yep,
the moment.
yep.
Because
So
maybe if they were anything like normal animals, it would discourage them, and some of them would run away.
incredibly, that turns out to be Lesser Demon 1.
Weird. Okay, well that was lame, and that Bane is on agility. I think I can push that. I need some willpower. A little bit better, but also Bane's, but also willpower.
All right, so that's going to be 1 damage.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to hit and kind of scrape up against one of the demons. But
Mm-hmm.
a lot of things just happened in a couple rolls, right? So there was the aim to shoot, you made an adjustment, you shot, you're going to hit one of these demons, but you're going to take 2 damage to your agility. So can we walk
Mm-hmm.
through what we think happened in the narrative?
I think what it is that Sten he's been traveling with the other 3 for quite a long while, and it's like they have a system.
Mm.
I'm gonna move here. I know where Osric's gonna go. I know what Aldrich's gonna do. I know what Vasi's gonna do. Now there's like an unknown factor in the equation, and I don't have a piece that I'm relying on. So it's kind of like, reach back. I take the shot, and then I'm like, looking, do I try and tell Silva what to do? And he's just, probably I'm guessing maybe they're even both going in the same direction, like he bumps into her and
Ooh,
knocks his elbow or something like that.
blame it on the new guy.
Yep, exactly. That's how it works.
All right, so we see that happen. We see
Mhm.
that demon. We see it get scraped. It makes a
Mhm.
noise and immediately leaps itself off of
Well, I do actually
the
get 2
wall.
shots because I'm
Yep.
a
So it
fast
leaps
shooter.
itself off the wall in reaction to getting shot. You,
Mhm.
because of your talent, get another free shot, right?
Yep, and I'm gonna try and shoot the same one again if
Got
I
it.
can. That's a
There it
little
is.
better.
All right. Tell me how we kill it.
Cool. Well, basically, it leaps up onto the wall and is kind of turning to take a look, and just as it does, I just kind of hit its center torso and pin it to the wall.
So it kind of leaps up and you can see it like becoming airborne. And as it turns its body towards you, its head has been pointed at you the whole time. It's just pinned upright against the wall. Is that it for
That's all I got.
Sten? Okay, that
fast and the
demon
slow.
is dead.
Hooray!
So 2 on either side of the one that you've just pinned are now coming for Sten.
Great.
So that is, this one is now gone. So let me get him kind of separated
And
out.
you used your fast and your slow, right? The second
I
shot is
did.
not free. It uses your fast. Is that right?
Technically, they're both fast actions, but I
Oh,
have
cool.
used both of mine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do get a free dodge, however, because I have fast.
Oh,
foot,
that's good.
which seems relevant.
Did you like just read a dictionary or something recently?
That is a cromulent talent, sir.
All right, what is going to be our reaction as this thing tries to bite you?
I'm on dodge,
All right, let's go ahead.
which is that just a move roll?
Yeah, hold on.
But if you want to stay standing, you have to take a minus
In combat,
2.
there's a dodge button.
Yes, also that.
Yes, there it is. Okay, well,
You don't need to roll the dodge, but you've used the dodge.
okay.
So this thing, both of them leap off, get
Mhm.
airborne, headed towards Sten. The first one goes to chomp. It does not bite you though, because
Because I'm backing the hell up.
So the chomp goes, and once it realizes that it's not getting a piece of you, it
Mhm.
pulls back to kind of go for a second charge,
Mhm.
and it heads out. Next one doing the same thing. You are out of reactions, right?
Correct. I do not. I get one free dodge.
Next
That's
one comes
okay.
in. It gets bumped by the one that pulls back as it misses. So it also does a second chomp and fails.
Cool. Everybody's bumping into each other.
Osric.
That's their new guy.
So are these two that have come for Sten now close enough to me
They are
to
now engaged.
then I will smack one of them with Heart Scar.
And you got to make sure it gives you your talent, your +1.
Oh,
Back to using Heart Scar, huh?
it did not do that. Only because like the sword wants to kill me.
So instead of rust bite, we pull out the axe.
Oh, right. I was thinking of Rustbite when I said Heart Scar.
Let's see. How do I make this work? Melee +1.
You'll add
Add
+1
it
to the
that.
skill.
Yeah, but it's if I put it on the axe, then then it will show up in my combat list.
Oh, is it the axe not? Hold on.
Uh, it just wasn't set in Axe Fighter, so that I couldn't just tick it as a box. I got it.
You got it? Okay.
Boy, that was a roll. Whew,
I mean, you hit him.
I did.
Got through.
I smidged him, and I
Wouldn't
don't.
push that one.
I do.
Nah.
I do need willpower, but not that badly.
Not that badly.
Yeah. Oh, geez. All three of them were on strength. All
Mhm.
three of those Banes. Okay.
Dislocate your shoulder as you swing.
So we are not pushing this.
No, I
all
will
right.
not hit that button. No,
All
thank
right.
you.
So you're gonna graze this thing pretty good for 2 damage, causing it to pull back. Where do you hit it? Walk me through the narrative.
I think this is the one that sort of jumped forward and backward, and I think as I see it come for Stan, I sort of uh, just hack forward at him and sort of like clip him in his little shoulder. But obviously, I haven't quite gotten used to using the axe versus a sword or something like that.
And you draw that black molasses blood out of its side as the axe kind of like slices into this thing, and it pulls away a little bit farther away from Sten and farther away from you. Silva.
Well, I'm gonna give Osric a hand, and I've got my walking stick / staff in hand. She's gonna kind of whap. And,
Same one that got hit by the
yeah,
axe.
going after the same one Osric was.
Beautiful.
Let's
Let's do it.
see what the new kid can do.
Hopefully, some kind of damage.
Mm.
Hopefully, gonna push that. Some kind of damage. That broke my stick.
She's the best.
If Sten had time during this fight, it would just have been, really? This is what they send us?
You get 2 gear dice for the staff. It's going to get damaged. It's going to
Oh,
go down to
Jeebus.
one
And
gear
2
die.
for strength, huh?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Whew.
All right, so let's walk through this. So we see Osric, we see Sten launch the arrows. We see the 2 demons that didn't get pinned by the arrow. They come in, they chomp, both missing Sten as he pulls back instinctively from it. Osric takes that opportunity to slice one of them with the axe. And let's have it pulling towards you, Silva. As it pulls back away from where Osric and Sten are, it comes towards you. We have a miss that turns into a hit because we pushed. We end up damaging the stick, and you take 2 damage to your strength. So what do we think happens in that moment?
So I think there was that moment when Sten tried to dodge or not dodge, tried to take that first shot and kind of glanced back at her and kind of stumbled into her a little bit. There was there's like this brief moment of eye contact, and she read that same kind of trepidation of, I'm the new person. he's
Alright,
looking
did
at
you-
me because he's not reading what I'm here for. And that kind of drove her to like really kind of reel into this swing with this staff. So instead of kind of wielding it more like a staff, she almost got like a baseball bat grip on this thing.
I'll show you.
She goes
old
in
man.
for this first swing, like hits the ground, swings it back up, and just cracks this stick over this little demon's head. But it just splinters because she put enough damage into it on the ground in that first hit.
And we see the very end of the stick kind of break a little bit, and I'm feeling like the push also is a result of the two of you bumping into each other, right? Because we had Sten had to do the same thing because of that contact that happens. So this demon goes flying into the wall. The one that now has the damage from the axe, as well as now getting cracked over the head by the stick. One comes from above, out of absolutely nowhere, and I think it identifies Silva as the threat.
God.
Oh no.
You still have a fast action. Do we want to dodge?
Yeah, I can't parry anymore because my stick is out of stick.
Well, it's just
No,
it's-
you should
if
be-
it has two dice and only one damage, you can.
It
try your
only-
fine.
Its bonus is 0 now. It's broken.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a
well.
1.
Yeah,
So-
this-
Why does it? But it rolled 2 gear die. Hold on.
Oh, it sure did.
Oh, it was damaged from the adventure.
Oh
Oh,
Got it. Okay. So you
So
did just
literally
break it
broke
good.
your staff. Beautiful. All right, so you
Uh,
lose the parry on that, so you can't parry with that. Yeah, but you can do a
she's gonna-
dodge.
She'll do a dodge.
Do you want to stay prone or stay up, or do you want to go prone?
Yeah, she'll try to stay standing.
Okay, so it'll be at a -2.
I think you can actually
Just
parry
on
with
try.
hand if it's not a monster, but I think these guys are monsters. So,
Mm.
Little baby monsters.
well,
All right, so we are committing to the dodge at -2.
Yep.
Let's see if you dodge this attack.
Gonna dodge. This is not gonna be good. Oh,
Nope.
not good.
jeez.
All right,
Oh my
so
gosh.
that's going to be 2 damage to your strength. That breaks you. Is that correct?
Can I push that dodge?
Yeah, let's push the dodge.
Yeah, I'm gonna push the dodge, and that's gonna hurt. But
Oh my goodness.
But what is
Rather-
going on?
Ra-
You just
I
take
gotta-
off right
rather
where
more unruly than her normal patrons. Is
I gotta talk to
definitely-
Marigold because this is not going to work out.
All right, so I need to see what kind of attack this is. Hold on a second.
I mean, you could take the character out, but Nate's still throwing the dice.
All right,
So-
this is gonna be a slash critical. So let's break Silva.
Wait, she's
Oh.
not broken now, right?
No.
Oh,
She took
Yeah.
2 from agility and 1 to strength. So are you still?
yeah, I should
Yep.
be good since I.
But you take the 2. Oh, but the dodge was successful. Did I miss?
yeah,
was,
I got a dodge.
uh,
1.
Oh, so you're still at 1. Okay.
yeah.
All right. So let's go through the sequence. This thing gets popped by you. The one comes from above. It comes down and it's going to chomp. It's going to do damage. Or no, it's not going to do any damage. You're going to successfully dodge it. As it comes down, what does Silva do?
No, it does 1
Uh,
damage, right?
Yeah, it does.
You
It hit 1
dodged
damage.
some of the damage.
So I think she ends up kind of less dodging and more like stumbling backwards, and it like manages to kind of get like a nick off, but she kind of slips back and almost like twists her ankle a little bit.
And you've got armor.
Oh, I do have armor. Yeah, that is thank you for that reminder.
You just
Combat.
need 1 success on
It's
the
been a
armor.
while, folks. We're a little rusty.
I know we are a little rusty, aren't we?
Plus new character.
Oh,
Did you think that would save you? So I'm imagining it, and I know this is all like you guys, but like imagine you like slam your staff against it like a splinter as you break your staff like slams into like your shoulder, and then as you're
Ooh.
dodging out, you trip on the other piece of staff that was under you and like crack your ankle, like sprain your ankle.
Oh
you're
gosh.
just gonna clown on my new character there, Dave.
A
mean-
lot has just happened in this first round of
Mhm.
combat. Vasilla, All of this all
Right.
happened at
Save
once.
us all, Vasilla.
Well, I'm going to aim and shoot my new sling at these bad guys.
I'm very excited to see how this goes.
I'm
right.
going to aim at the
Most injured one, the one that's gotten hit by the
correct.
Axe in
And
the
if
staff.
I add 1 to the modifier, that will add an extra die, correct?
correct.
From my aiming. Okay, here we go. Well, that was not
Oh,
not
certainly some
breaking me.
dice.
So we're gonna
The Stone Loom Mines hate the 4 of you.
No
That's
kidding.
true. I'm
gonna-
not real fond of them either, Craig.
we're
I'll be honest
gonna
with
push.
you. Hey,
Hey, there it is.
So I managed to bean a guy with a rock.
With that 1 damage, you're going to do more than bean it. The one that's gotten hit now twice gets hit a 3rd time by Vasilla's sling, and it takes this guy out. So what happens?
So I think this guy's just kind of bewildered, right? Everything's so fast. He's been like chopped with an axe and like slammed up against a wall by like this wild swing with the staff. And I think she just like literally just like pings it like as it careens off of like the wall and the sling and just this guy's just been he doesn't actually like it's not like an impressive Sten shot like right through the heart and around the corner. It's not like Larry Bird and Michael Jordan like making shots off of the billboard, right? It's like I was the wide open corner 3 guy. I'm just like boop right in his head.
And
good, he says.
right in the side of its head, and it gets hit by it, and its wings are still flapping, and then it goes in again on Sten and just dead drops
Even it can't believe that this is how it went.
and falls at Sten's feet dead. Our last demon comes from the top, going for Sten.
Mm.
Oh.
Sten is dodging things like Neo from the Matrix.
Oh man.
Just
He clearly has to pick up some extra weight now.
all right. So we've got 2 arrow rolls.
Yeah,
Yes, you're right.
I forgot that I had to do mine as well, so I just did.
Gear.
Soul shooting is new.
We're good.
All right. We go back to round 2. That takes us back up to Sten, unless we're going to change things. So in Forbidden Lands, every time we start a new round, the players can exchange their cards, which essentially allows them to exchange their initiative.
So I feel like, well, Vasilla's not hurt yet, but I feel like I'm the least injured of us at this point. Most of it's self-inflicted. So should I just keep going?
Yeah, I feel like you can just keep shooting things, right? Like,
all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And none of these guys are wounded at this point, right?
Yeah, we have 3 healthy demons left.
All right, cool.
2 are taken out. Before we do that, though, are we keeping the same order? We know Sten's first. Is that Ostrich, Silva, Vasilla?
Do I need to? Why don't we switch back, Silva, to with yourself beat up to all heck? If I go before you and you just focus
that
on
probably
dodging,
sounds good.
Sure. Yeah.
does that make sense?
Yep.
All right, Sten.
And are the dead ones both in that first group of 3 for reference, or?
So if you go to the combat, you should hopefully be able to see it. There's going to be you, 1 more demon than Osric.
Okay. All right, cool.
Do you see that on the combat,
Yeah.
order?
They put little skulls
I'm
on
still
the
seeing. Oh, there they are.
bottom
Okay,
left
cool. That's
and-
what that is. I
Yep.
had my thing overlapping. All right, cool. Yeah. So I'm just going to keep shooting, and hope to do better.
Just keep shooting. Just
Yeah,
keep
exactly.
shooting.
do better.
So we
That-
see
that-
Sten
that-
dodge, pull another
Yeah.
arrow, knock it,
Yep. I
Which
do
does not
have.
take a fast action from you, right?
Right. Exactly. I also have. Where is it? Fast shooter. I can shoot and run at the same time. I'm not going to run. I'm just backing up a little bit.
Yep.
And then first shot.
Ooh.
Sure,
Bye-bye.
I'll take it. All right. So I imagine there's one, flapping around at was there one going after Vasilla?
No. So far, they've only been attacking
Me
Silva and
Silva.
you.
Okay. Yeah, then I'll shoot one of the ones that's going after Silva, since Sten has now written her off as completely helpless. Because one bad roll. And then I will take the second shot. And then I will make some arrow rolls.
At a new target.
Yep.
Is that one actually dead?
Oh yeah, yeah. They've got 3 health, so 3 damage
Okay.
takes them out.
I thought they had four.
That's
And that's
two.
that's the Sten we know and love.
I don't have any Banes, but I'm gonna push it.
Going for the kill. Ooh, nice.
Yeah, baby.
Nice.
Walk me
Sten's a
through the
machine.
narrative.
Yeah, so basically, he's sort of accepted in his soul that we have been sent a useless person. So he's just like, fine, I'll do everything. Going full Hawkeye, just kind of taking the shots, and he's close enough that they can still get like the full impact. And he's just kind of settling back into his groove now.
That takes us immediately to Osric with 1 demon left. Let's do our
That was an
rolls
arrow
real
roll.
quick.
I was like, what is that? What did I click?
These are pretty good arrows you make anyway. Or
If nothing else, right?
She might know how to break a stick, but she knows how to make arrows too.
Know how to find arrows.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh gosh.
pretty
Alright,
mighty
Ostrich.
swing to snap her stick in half.
Assuming that I can reach the one that's left, I will.
Yes, you can.
I will smack it with an axe, or at least make the attempt.
What's the bane on?
Is that on the axe? I can't do it. I can't break the axe. I can't do it.
Oh, I bet you could.
Well,
All right, so very similar situation where you find this other demon that's coming from the top, and you come up with the axe and slice it.
I think so. I think that's it, and I think that he recognizes he's put himself in a precarious situation and does not push further.
All right, so you're going to keep your fast action.
Yes.
Vasilla.
I'm going to ready my sling this time because I don't have a stone already in it, and then I will throw it at this demon.
So that's a fast and slow.
Yup. I think that's the button I'm supposed to push. Oh. I have to go to the right page. Correct page.
There you go.
Look at this.
Combat is over. We take out the last one. Walk me through the finishing move, Vasilla.
So I think once again she's just playing cleanup crew, right? So like the axe like cut off a chunk of this thing's wing and like landed and slid, and then it's on the ground, and she just like right in its little belly, like shooting these like still targets that everyone else has beat to crap.
Oh my god, I love this. I love Heartscar slices off the wing and this thing falls to the ground, and as it like stands up and looks up, it just gets the stone right in the
Yeah.
forehead.
I think this sling is it's like we tend to forget cold-blooded killer Vasilla. She's still there.
Murder half.
Oh yeah. Killer Vasilla. I like it.
So these bodies, we got 5 of these demon bodies that then, if you remember, turn to ash.
Uh-huh.
They didn't
All
like
right.
explode and hurt us or anything crazy like that, right?
It's
That wasn't these guys. That was the different set of guys.
What was that, Jim?
They didn't like explode.
No.
I hope not, because that would have been real bad.
I know, and I feel like that happened somewhere, but maybe it was somewhere else.
Don't remind me.
Oh no.
it's okay, Silva. It's everyone's first time is rough.
I think Silva is actually kind of like she's like kind of slumped down. She's on the ground, just kind of catching her breath, and she kind of puts a hand to her neck and just kind of.
Question for
Y'all
you,
are,
Silva, real quick,
Mhm.
before you go. We know, because we saw it firsthand, her deal with natural danger.
Mhm.
Is this the first demon?
Absolutely. Yeah. Like as far as anything that she's considered real, this is the first demon she's probably ever encountered. Um, and she kind of sitting back and kind of catching her breath and just y'all are the real deal, eh?
Yeah.
Sometimes we
Yeah.
have to be. You all
It's
right?
always different in stories. Here, eat this, and I fish out like aspirin, right? Like herb, like the little herb packs I
Some
made.
willow
Just like,
bark, yeah.
yeah, dude, just drink that. Put
Thank
that in
you.
your face,
Just gonna takes that from you.
and then I'll do some actual healing. I don't know if I can really do healing when people are not broken. Once again, been a while, but I will figure it out and try if I need to. I was busy figuring out how to use a sling, so I didn't read a healing.
Yeah, let's check it real quick. Because
Note that you can recover all your losses, but still suffer blah blah blah. That's talking about critical injuries. Best way to recover from being broken is from healing. Yeah, I think I can only heal you if you are broken.
well, I'm going to transition us to the third quarter day, and
Okay.
here's our situation. We've now landed in a relatively campable place.
Oh no.
Have
take-
we?
I
We
don't
have.
want to camp in here anymore.
We've taken out the immediate danger when we reached the bottom here. Based off of the sounds that Sten heard, there is a good 10 or 15 feet to the next chamber to your right, Sten, as best as you can tell. The water, it's very difficult to tell, but the hall that leads to that water is at least another 20, 30 feet.
We're super open.
What is unsecure about your situation where you are right now is above you, right? Because that's wide open.
Right. Well, wide open above us is wide open, and there's 3 entrances down here.
2.
Well, 2. Okay. So I think our best bet, and Sten will say this, we need to go into one of these caves, see if it's, make sure it doesn't extend off too far, and at least have a defensible position if something else comes at us. If the dwarves are down here, they're more likely to be where the water is.
That was my
So
thinking too.
I
I
vote
don't know
we
if
head
that
in
means we
that
go towards
direction.
the water or away from it to
Well, we're here to find
move
them.
forward. We
so-
are here to find them, but if you want to camp, I don't know if you want to find them before you set it up.
Well, let's at least see if we can find a defensible position that way.
And this is a loose third quarter, right? Like this is 3
Sure.
hours, right?
Yeah.
And so if you guys want to explore to see what is in either of these directions, you have time to do that.
Mhm.
So heading towards the water, as you go into this passageway, I do need a torch roll.
Oh,
Sure.
Osric is gonna hand Silva the trident that
I was
he's
good. I was gonna ask you about that.
strapped to his back and says it's not quite a staff, but at least you can defend yourself.
A little bit more effective than a staff, honestly. She kind of gives it kind of a jab.
Yeah. But it is terrible at parrying, just as a note to Nate.
That's fine.
It's parry -2, so
Yeah.
it's not a parrying weapon,
Yeah, that's
but
fine
it
or
is
something.
it is a stick and it is pointy. So
Our expert fighters explanation of tridents. It's a stick and it's pointy.
it's
3
for
points.
It's got 3.
the
3 whole
layperson.
points.
For the layperson, it's no staff.
All right, so I've
It's
moved the
pointy.
trident over to Silva.
Thank you.
Oh, I feel so unencumbered now. The weight has been lifted.
Yeah, it's like
from
not
my-
having that rope. I'm tap dancing.
Exactly, man. It's like, wow, I could just swim around now.
And you blamed your first shot on the new girl and not the rope.
She
we s-
bumped into me.
the quarter of the staff that's Silva still has. Silva, you toss that to the side and you take this
Yeah,
metal.
she would have discarded the staff at that
Mhm.
point.
You
Just
take this metal
littering.
trident.
You can't fight and littering. Worst.
We'll add it to the wood fire.
And just double check. I think I have it equipped and ready for you.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Stenla, as the torches, the two torches that you guys had out there during this battle die. Sten lights another torch. Who indicates that we're headed towards the water? Sten?
I think so.
We head into this passageway again, earthwork versus stone engineering at this point, right? We are in unfinished parts of the mines now. You work your way through. Unlike when you were going through these refined stone corridors, we now have carved, unfinished tunnels, which means we have some vegetation that's kind of hanging and hitting your head as you kind of walk through this area. And it feels safe for about 10 feet because of the light. And then after that, it is unknown. It is darkness. You start to work your way there, and you see the corridor end. As deep as you thought you were, as you went down this huge staircase that took 2 hours to traverse back and forth as a zigzag as you went down, as you then slid down 30 feet worth of earthworks to get to the bottom of this new area of the Stone Loom mines, you now come to another unfinished large chamber that has a series of ladders, untrustworthy ladders that lead another 20 feet down.
Ugh.
At the very edge of the light of this torch, you can see the bottom of this chamber. At the bottom, Sten, as you're there with that torch, standing in front of everybody, at the very bottom, you can see two passageways, one leading to the left. You're at the top of this, right? Looking
Mhm.
down.
Mhm.
One leading to the right. Then stone slab stairs extending ahead that then also continue down. I'm not going to make you roll for this. The water sound has gotten louder as you've extended towards this.
Mhm.
Maybe you put your hand up for silence again, because water is what drew you this direction.
Mhm.
The water seems to be coming from the left, but you're not as sure as before. It's also echoing from the stairs that lead
Okay.
straight. You guys will be able to come down this chamber without any rolls needed between the ladder and the amount of sheerness here. You guys can traverse down this thing, but right now I want to imagine you at the top on the sledge, looking down another good 20 feet.
Well, with this many choices over here, I'd be kind of inclined to go back and look at the other side, see if it's a more easily defensible spot.
position.
Yeah.
So Sten turns you around and takes you back to the bottom of the chamber that got you here. You guys move to the other tunnel. Who's in front? What's the marching order? Because it's single file.
I think Osric will be in front.
Does Oster take the torch from Sten and move to the front?
I don't So I think my expectation is that someone is behind me with a torch. So like
Yeah, I think
whoever's
Vasilla
in
was doing that
whoever's in
before.
like the second rank would have a torch.
Yep, that's me because
Uh,
I get better angles, right? So I can get
Mhm.
like a lower torch angle to give him better light around his body.
So when we get back to the main area where you fought the demons, we see a little bit of shuffling happening. We see Osric then silently, nobody asks any questions, everybody just knows. Osric says, "I'm going first," without saying a word. Sten allows that to happen. Sten hands the torch to Vasilla. You get to this marching order that the three of you are familiar with. We've got Osric first, Vasilla second with the torch. Silva, there's a silent coordination happening between the three of them that you're unfamiliar with. No words are being exchanged.
I think she just kind of keep moving and see where everyone else falls in.
Yeah, I think
I
Sten
see
would.
that. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say Sten would probably gesture for her to go ahead of him, and he'll take up rear guard.
That's kind of what I assumed she was noticing, is that Sten was probably at the very least like stopping to let everyone else go forward. That makes sense to her, and she's not really feeling in a mood to argue or anything.
Good.
Osric, as you're moving forward, and Vasilla's doing her best to make the torch extend as far ahead of you as possible without bumping into you or setting you on fire. There's a part of you that just, I wish she could get like 2 or 3 more feet ahead of me with the light, because it is just pure darkness as the sound of the water gets farther away. On the floor, as you work about 10 or 15 feet into this hall, you see something on the floor. And Vasilla sees it too with her. She's got the torch and she kind of extends her arm a little bit to give you that extra foot of light. And you see the back of our friend, who appears to be face down in this hall, in this carved tunnel, is the only description I can give.
Is there blood?
Is there blood? Yeah.
Can I see any tracks or signs of a struggle? Or
No roll needed. Looking around, there doesn't seem to be anyone, Sten. So what this tells you is, if he is dead, it was time and distance. It was not an attack.
okay,
I'm gonna go check the body. I'm gonna give like
yeah, I
the
think that's
look up to my
definitely
friends to be like,
that
I'll hand the
Mhm.
torch to Silva, I guess, with her trident, and right behind me, and then I'm gonna go check the body.
You run up to the body. Silva, you just instinctively don't ask questions. You just take the torch, right? And you can see that obviously the fight it had, either with the insectoid that you saw it kill, or maybe it encountered something afterwards. It's hard to tell, but you can see that the wounds overtook him at this point, and he is laying there dead. It's been at least a day based on the condition.
Pretty stinky. All right, I'm going to mask up effectively to kind of try to take care of disease prevention, which I'm assuming I've learned about at this point in my medical learnings, and I'm going to drag him to out of the center because it's like I imagine it's like whatever 5 foot, like pretty tight. Because we were in single order.
You would have to you'd have to step over and navigate him to go beyond him.
Right. So I think I'm gonna move him over just to like out of the main center where I imagine he collapsed, kind of like over to the side. And I'm gonna like I just like up. I don't know. I got him, but it wasn't here.
And we don't see any signs of anything like exiting this area.
It continue
Mhm.
the tunnel continues on beyond
There's
his body.
no sign of like someone that would have attacked him here and then left.
But if he was going this way, it's likely his friends were down this way.
That's my thought. Yeah. Well,
Did we?
let's,
Do I remember seeing him beat up? I know he was dirty and gnarly, right? When we were leaving him, and when we were leaving, we were not in a great state. Do I remember him being wounded from anything with the bug? Showing obvious wounds.
I don't think you spent enough time looking. So I think it's very difficult for the four of you, and for you particularly, Vasila, because you're closest, to know the wounds that he's obviously died of. It's impossible for you to get a sense of, was this the fight for the insectoid that we found dead, or
Right.
did he encounter something else? You can't tell.
Okay.
we gave him Stan at least gave him some food when we met last time. Does he still have it on him?
He does.
Okay.
Yep. So if someone wants to add a die, they can add a die to their food.
Oh, I'm so mad that he died, Craig. Like Osric is mad that he died too, and I feel like, uh, like, I I just want to hit something, and so I think that like he's literally just gonna lash out with his shield at the wall, and because he's failed another person that was could have been looking to him for help. Uh, but now like, should we go forward? Like, this is not that much better a position for us to stop
No, we
than
need to
anything
go
else we
on.
were at. I think
I'm gonna after. So Ostrich like literally just slams his shield into the wall.
literally happened. Yes,
I'm like, shh. And
we should have been here to save him. Uh,
we should be quiet so we don't die.
I think Osric will also just take a moment to offer the dwarf spirit to uh, the raven or the worm, etc., and say a small prayer for him.
As Ostric's attending to his body, I'm gonna like, go, I don't know, 10 feet forward away from him and just like sit and listen. Not like actually sit down, but I'm gonna like do my best stand impression of like, you know, away from all that
So Vasily,
hullabaloo.
yeah. So Vasily, because we still have we still have the benefit of this murmur of this water, right? Even though it's extended beyond these sounds are bouncing off this earthworks as you work your way through, and almost like Daredevil bat type thing happening, even though you can't see beyond. It's just a tunnel in front of you based on the amount of light that's ahead of you. You can tell that it's going to be opening up soon. That the sound gets then lost ahead of you. So you know that if you go another 10 or 15 feet, it's opening up. It's not, the tunnel is going to end, but you can't visually see what that looks like from where you are. Does that give you what you were looking for?
Yeah, and I was looking for was there any shouting from, I don't know, a loud shield slam against the wall?
Yeah. There's an echo, right? that happens from that. Maybe gives you some of the information I just shared with you is the bouncing of the sound of that shield. Though I've got to tell you that the shield didn't make as much sound as you might think because it was slammed against earth, right? He didn't slam it against stone or a stone wall,
That's
right?
fair. Yeah, I was
But
imagining work stone. Yeah.
yeah, it was still a sound, right? But no, there doesn't seem in the what the fuck are you doing? There doesn't seem to be an immediate sound reaction that comes back from what Osric just did.
Okay, so mostly pounding in my heart. Check. All right. Well, I'll stalk back and say, well, the best thing we can do for Osric is to find the people he cared about. So let's keep us alive and keep looking.
So we think we're gonna go forward again. There's never gonna be a spot that's safe, but okay.
Not in this world.
No, definitely not in here.
How this works.
It's like it opens up to 3 more tunnels. But yeah, we'll go in that direction.
It's tight and slightly uncomfortable, but I'm going to put you guys back in your marching order again with Osric, Vasilla, Silva, and then Sten behind. We now work past the body of our friend. And Sten and Osric, the light then extends out into a chamber. When you went down the zigzagged stairs, there was about 10 or 15 feet that led to another opening, another door. What you walk into and what this extends to is very similar. Whereas there's darkness below, you can see an opening or a door that's roughly 12, 13 feet ahead of you. But it's not the same spot, right? You haven't circled around here. This is different. And the way you know it's different is you can see that at some point there was a stone bridge that extended across this cavern that has since collapsed. So the gap between the part of this stone bridge where you are to the part of the stone bridge on the other side is about 10-foot gap of this 15-foot total depth. You can see it extends on. You also see splintered shards of wood on your side of this, as well as that side of this. So some sort of wood used to be here. And just looking at the way that these shards of wood on your side are, it's not soaked, it's not rotted. So if there was some sort of wood bridge that was here at some point, it's been destroyed recently. And you've got pieces of it on your side and pieces of it on that side. You now still have you now have this 10-foot gap. There's just enough light to see the other side of this. There's not enough light to see how far down this goes. Though the walls are not 90 degrees vertical, they kind of cone down slightly. You can tell instinctively we could go down this if we had the rope, if we had the time. We couldn't jump this. It's too far to jump. Osric, you're taking all of that information in. You're looking up then, and you're seeing the top, the ceiling of this. It's about 10 foot above you. What's troubling is the smell. because it smells like methane. It smells like oil. It smells like flammable air. And I need to know what you're going to do right now.
Oh, shit. We can't put out the torch. I'm gonna at least hold my hand back to not allow Vasilla to go forward.
What's your reaction to that, Vasilla? His hand goes up.
I stop immediately. If he's pushing back, if it's like stop, I stop. If it's like back, then I will go back. Yeah, I trust him implicitly. So
And,
whatever.
and your indication is to move back. Don't not just stop where you are, Osric. It is
Yeah, I
like,
think it's more of like a reach back as a sort of wait, don't get closer.
It's like you're in a car and you're stopping and your mom like slaps you in the
Yes.
chest to keep
Mhm.
you further.
Yeah.
the smell's coming from below. Osric. You stop Vasilla, and she goes back a step or two to a distance that you know, if the air was going to turn into fire, it would have by now. So I have stopped her before it has happened.
Great.
Who's going to say it?
It's time to go to credits. It's like, look, I see you have a bow.
All right, we are back. Lots of conversations happening during the credits. Dungeoneering is tough for the four of you. And it was tough with Aldrich, and it's tough with Silva. This is when this game gets as much OSR as OSR can get. It has that old school dungeoneering feel of, you know, first edition, first and a half edition of D&D. I'm just going to make a couple quick comments. One, I'm of the school, and this game reinforces this, that when you go underground, when you go into these enclosed spaces where it's dark and it's dangerous, it should feel dark and it should feel dangerous. this is different than being at Weatherstone. This is different than being at the Hollows. This is different than being at Amber's Peak. And I think the Stone Loom mines do that. You guys don't have great luck here, but the four of us are in better shape than we were the last time we were in the Stone Loom mine. So that's a plus. I think I want to start with you, Nate. And I think I want to start not with Stars and Wishes. I want to start with Silva. We are now roughly about 6 hours underground. Marigold said jump, you jumped. She told you to find these three. You found these three. You left Thundercloud up there. You left our new Fox friend up there. You headed down here. As Silva finds the body of somebody that was explained to her before, as you fought the most unnatural thing that Silva's ever fought before, as you smell the gas and the danger that Osric pulled back from, can I get just a little idea of where Silva's head is?
I think the way that fight went down really put some weight on her. And she's gonna spend almost like as much time recovering from the physical aspects as well as just the like the kind of the reality check.
Yeah.
I'm not what these people ordered, but I'm what they got.
Well, there's that aspect of it, but where is the what did I sign up for thought process for Silva, right? So we
Yeah.
keep talking about Silva as she is of value and relates to the party, but Silva had a nice tent at Amber's Peak. She was
Yeah.
helping Amber's Peak rebuild, and now she's here.
But it's interesting as the peddler that she's first thought would be, what is my value
Yeah,
to these other people, right?
great
That's
point.
that's something I consider with her. She's very others forward.
Mm,
She's very much a of service kind of person. And while she is like, I would like to be, set up in a little tent, in a little bazaar, selling my wares. This is where I'm needed.
that makes sense to me because that's how she got here, right? Like I always flip it when I said when Marigold said jump, you jumped, but there's got to be a commitment to service that would drive her to do that, to fight off a wolf and to be in this position. All right, so now this is no all right, we'll put Silva aside. Stars and wishes for Nate. Let's start with stars.
Oh man. I really gotta give it to Brian for adding that bit about stumbling into the new person, because that really kind of did put a shine a light on the new situation as a whole, and it's kind of got my mind going as to where and how Silva will be in the next couple sessions. And then wishes. I mean, I feel like we got to be getting close. We keep
It's
going
so
down, and there
funny.
keeps
Do not
being
feel
more
like that.
down. And I'm curious to see what the next landing is. So
Well, and I feel like I think what's interesting here is not only as characters have we expressed the fact that we want to get in and out of this thing, the four players have expressed that too. Like, if we're going to do this mine, we're not going to spend 4 sessions down in this mine,
And you
right?
keep
Yeah.
making us come back.
So I think I think the next session or two are going to be very interesting as far as was what we face there. Dave, stars and wishes.
I gotta give it to Jim. I think I think Osric as the heart of the crew is still important factor of it, right? Like it's fun to be where it's easy, at least to my view, to be like the mouthy, like friendly guy, and I think it's harder to be like the silent heart um, role. And I think that Jim's doing a great job with it, and I think it really adds to the whole thing, right? Like why give a fuck?
Building off of that just a little bit, Dave, there's a couple thoughts I have. One, it's so easy to forget. Technically, Jim is the least experienced in this hobby of all of the five of us. But Jim, you keep pulling this out. Like you have got a gift here, and when we play in person locally, you've got a gift of putting yourself in the body of your character, and you consistently bring up these moments, and it's awesome. And don't stop doing it. You have found the ability to play in character as character, and what Dave just said is 100% true, which it reminds us where we are as characters, and you actually do a very good job of pulling us back into character. And so yeah, I'm with you 100% on that, Dave. Like
Yeah.
Jim's got a gift.
Yeah, awesome. And wishes, I don't know. Like I'm so happy with the reset course, right? I think I think integrating Silva in is going to be a fun experience. I think watching us all grow from a pretty tragic, terrible thing will be a fun experience. I know it's been just been going well.
It's nice to play again.
Yeah.
Jim, stars and wishes.
I feel like it's my stars between Sten's really nice moment with Aldrich up front, which is very cool. Uh, a lot of the Sten interactions with Silva, I think were a lot of fun too. Where it's like, wait a minute, you're a what now? That's what like no, you're
Didn't
not
you
the,
roll up a druid?
you're not
Expecting
you're
you to
not the
pull out a
person-
magic wand or
like,
something from the
like,
backpack, and then no,
you're-
here's some rope.
Right, exactly. You're not the person that Dolph sent me, right? You're the person who just happened along before the person Dolph sent me was very good. And then I also really enjoyed Vasila being successful with her sling,
That was
which
cool.
is just sort of that happenstance of, oh, I guess I just hit that one in the head and killed it. Oh, I guess I did it again. That's fine. I'm maybe I'm good at this. It'll be great. So those were my star moments.
And the idea of Vasila picking up a little offensive weight, right? We've lost Aldrich,
Mhm.
and now we're seeing Vasila contributing in combat in a way we haven't seen her before. I think that's very cool.
Mhm.
What are you wishing for?
One, I would like to get to know the magic talking fox. I'm deeply disappointed that the magic talking fox didn't come along to at least
We all know
learn.
you try to kill
Would
it
have
immediately.
saved us.
So
Well, if nothing else, like it can't possibly learn any more about us while it's up with the donkey. So it could learn something, good, bad, or indifferent. Uh, but like,
Jim
like-
frowny faced your choice on that one, Nate.
Jim will remember that.
like
he was slamming every button on his Xbox controller to make you change your mind. He was like, X, Y,
doubt. But like,
I'll vouch for you when we get back up.
even like I watched the Nate session, and like it didn't really even occur to me that the fox would be like to hang out and stay. So
Yeah,
that's
I
just
wasn't necessarily
like
expecting that either.
like it was.
Mhm.
It seemed like like one of those encounters where the fox pops by, says something cryptic and whimsical, and then poof, and it's gone. And that's just what happened. You go, yeah, I just saw a talking fox, and everybody goes, sure you did, sure you did.
Well,
But it's
what's
like
key-
still
what's-
there.
Yeah, and then what's key is that we have three characters that know nothing about this.
Exactly.
And I think the fact that it's staying is somehow worse.
Right?
What
in its
about
own
Forbidden
way.
Lands makes you pessimistic,
Uh,
Brian?
and
Only literally
Only
everything that has
everything.
happened since we
Uh,
started.
40 days ago. Woo. no.
Ugh.
There's so many things about the mines that I want to get to the bottom of. I want to find this gem in these mines. Osric cares a little bit less about it than I do. Uh, but I'd like to I'd like to see us complete that. I don't want us to abandon the mines a second time without this objective. Because then it feels like it would just hang over all of us forever, and that feels like it would be really frustrating.
And there's something lingering out here, I think that's easy to forget a little bit, which is this is where the mother and the one daughter escaped to, right? We
Mhm.
know that, and the characters know that, and have learned that, you know, and I'm not talking out of school here. There's got to be a little connection between the child and the daughter, and like,
Right. And
right,
the
like,
weird interactions at what were the
At the
altars.
chapel, yeah.
yeah,
Uh, and I hated to I feel like that was a place that in some ways like Silva would have uh, explored, and I, I almost hated because I definitely did not want to hang out there. Uh, but we she didn't get that chance to sort of absorb all of that
absorb is a good word.
otherworldliness of it
Mhm.
as an experience, because we were just like, no, we have to keep going, we have to keep going.
Right. Or the
But I
children at the
also,
hollows, right? That we
yeah,
came in with like,
Mhm.
that's creepy and weird.
What's interesting about that too is that for 3 of our characters, that chapel is a very different place because of what happened there,
right,
and Silva wasn't there. And
Mhm.
even if Silva was told it secondhand, it wouldn't have the impact that had on you with this amorphous ceiling that then interacted with you with this childlike thing. This is outside of Silva's understanding and knowing. And we didn't role play it, but it was very easy for me to imagine the other 3 characters, "No, we're not sticking around here."
yeah,
Mhm.
we don't have
Um,
time for this,
yeah.
right? Like
Right.
this place, yes, it's pretty, but no, 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 we don't have time for this right now.
Ryan.
Well, my star has to go to Nate. Not only for the the nice farewell, moment when Sten was trying to play it cool, and he,
I loved that reaction,
Aldrich
Nate. That was a
seized the
great
moment. Yeah, no,
reaction.
that was perfect.
Yep.
Um, and also the fact that with Silva coming in, there is a lot of, in the games we played when we were younger, it would always be kind of like, oh, you must be the new PC, come on in. And I think knowing that we've got a good crew here, I mean, obviously Sten is giving Silva a really hard time. And I love the way that Nate is rolling with it.
Mhm.
And I know that in time, he will come to realize, what kind of value she's adding other than as an extra piece of equipment. But I love the fact that you're, kind of taking it in stride and pressing on. So that's a lot of fun for me.
And making it a part of who Silva is as a character. I
Hmm.
love that detail, that you
Hmm.
added, Nate, that Silva is service forward. I think that makes it makes it all make sense.
Yeah, for sure. And then as far as wishes go, um, I mean, if we're making wishes, I want to get in here, find the dwarves and the princess and the ruby, and lead everyone out like in the next quarter day.
Hell yeah.
Um,
Hell
that
yeah, brother.
that
Let's do it.
seems unlikely
Let's
given past
go.
events, but I want to be done here. I don't like it down here. I never did, and I like it less now.
What would and this might be an obvious question, and just give me an obvious answers of it is, but like, what would make the 4 of you characters say, "I don't care. We're getting out of here. I don't care if there's a ruby, and I don't care what GoldenEye says. We're pulling the cord.
I think,
We're
and if someone else got seriously hurt,
yeah."
like permanent injury kind of thing, I think especially after what happened to Aldrich. I think Sten would want to pull the ripcord.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my
That-
line too.
That's definitely true. I
Not
feel like
Silva specifically, because if Silva dies, you're like, well, she shouldn't have been here,
She
right?
wasn't
Like,
all that
I
useful.
I feel bad.
terrible.
I feel bad, but like,
She seemed nice.
yeah.
She seemed okay.
That's his eulogy. She seemed
She
nice.
seemed cromulent.
A perfectly cromulent adventurer.
Sten is like, what the hell else is in that backpack?
Gosh, I feel like finding like the collective rest of the people that we believe we're here to save, uh, uh in states of dead, and uh no prominent like ruby bearer to be found, I think would be really disheartening and would cause Osric to truly consider abandoning this process for not 'cause that's like I said, right now I think he's not here for the ruby as much as he's here for the remainder of the collective people.
And you've lost one of them.
And I've already lost one of them because we took like 3 days after we got out of the mines, right? Like at least we sat a really long time, and so like if we found them all dead, that would be a real heartbreaker.
Yeah. The mental toll on all of our characters, I think, is an important thing for all of us to keep in mind in this, right? I mean, it's one thing for four players to go, let's go gritty fantasy, like, this is non-heroic fantasy. It's another thing to like put yourself back into the skin of your characters and go, at some point, the mental toll is going to be too much. We saw it happen with Aldrich. We saw Aldrich break and just say, I'm done.
Well, I think a lot of that was physical toll too.
Well, that's what preceded it, but and keep me honest here, Nate. I don't think it was the physical that broke.
It was the physical pushed the mental.
Right.
If he could, he would still be going. But
Yep.
he just can't. He can't put himself in that situation, and he couldn't have everyone carrying him like that.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
that's why he is not with us right now.
All right, let's do some plugs real quick. Nate, what are we plugging?
Steam Powered Scoundrels, as usual. Listen to my and some other people's hilarious voices as we sometimes make jokes about Malifaux specifically.
What was the most recent episode about? I haven't listened to it yet.
Oh hell, was that a faux down? Let me do a quick check. I'm pretty sure that was a faux down.
You actually discussed actual faux things.
What?
Oh,
Ish. It's always ish. With
yes,
Steve
that was a Friday night faux down, and just before that was also we had an interview with Mr. Kyle Rowan about Vagrant Song. So there's a
A
couple
very
good
popular
episodes for you.
topic for many excellent podcasts.
Yeah. Yep. It for those of you that are listening, it was Malifaux and Weird that kind of brought us all together initially as friends. And Kyle, who's the lead designer at Weird, has it's almost 2 years now, isn't it, that Vagrant Song came out, which is just a really just excellent boss battler cooperative board game that his
Sold out both Gen Cons.
yeah, and did it sell out again? Jesus.
Both times, yep.
There's a buzz around this game because it kind of like, for those of us familiar with Weird as a company, it didn't surprise us that much, and we know Kyle, so we're like, yeah, Kyle's like really good at shit. Like, he put out a good board game, of course he did, right? Because that's Kyle. But like, it's surprised a lot of people because they never have seen Weird as a board game company, and I think that there's now a recognition of like there's like a lot of talent in this small gaming company, and it's not limited to just miniature gaming. And they right now have a Kickstarter going for an expansion that allows you to not only get access to the original game, which is not necessarily the easiest thing to get your hands on because it's sold much faster than anybody anticipated, But if you listen to the interview on Steam Power Scoundrels, on the Ascent of Board Games, and on Tabletop Talk, Kyle's been on all 3 shows, and it's super exciting, the stuff that they've got coming out for. So make sure you check it out. Just search for WYRD, search for Weird on Kickstarter, and you'll find it. And there's a ton of top 10 lists that Vagrant Song made. So you search for Vagrant Song on YouTube, and you're gonna see it show up over and over again. Sorry. So that takes care of Nate. Dave, what are you plugging?
Nothing plugged today.
All right. What's the coolest thing that you've read or seen recently that more people should read or see?
The coolest thing that I've read or seen recently? I don't know. I've listened to a podcast. I've been playing lots and lots of Marvel Champions. So I was listening to a Marvel Champions podcast.
Oh, really?
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
And so for those of you listening, the locals, I have not fallen down this rabbit hole, but the locals are wicked into the Marvel Champions game. You guys are having a ton of fun with that.
Yeah. I really I've progressed into enjoying cooperative games a lot. I get to like A, its store is smaller, which is super nice. B, when someone does a cool like combo thing with their deck, like we all
It's
get to
not
exult.
against you.
Yeah, we like. So I was watching a game of MCP, Marvel Crisis Protocol yesterday, and like they were doing cool stuff, and it's probably fine and not broken. But my immediate first reaction is like, that's some bullshit, and I'm not even the one that was playing the game.
Wait, haven't you played enough Malifaux to know that everything is broken in its own way?
Yeah, right. But
But it doesn't have the feels bad that you're talking.
yeah, but there's just no feels bad. There's just like,
Yeah.
oh darn, Green Goblin got his ass whooped. Shucks, you know. So really
Until Green Goblin does it, and you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, right. But then we all have to figure out how to get through it, right? And so, been enjoying that change.
And if you look at the streaming schedule, there's a gap because Camping for Gamers is coming up next week. Are we bringing champions? Is someone bringing?
Yep.
Okay, good. Jim, what are you plugging?
I'm gonna plug Greenleaf Geek today.
What is
They-
that? I don't know this.
They are a small company that makes they make and sell dice and other gaming accessories for D&D and so on and so forth. And it's green is in the color leafgeek.com.
And how did this get on your radar? Like,
I honestly don't remember. They sell an adventure calendar, which is essentially you get one for Christmas, and it's got dice, and you get a bunch of different sets of dice, and they have a print your own adventure and some coloring pages and stuff like that. And I think
cool.
I found them on Twitter, and they seem like a lot of fun as a member of the RPG community. So
Very cool. Brian.
I like plugging a lot of different stuff, but I'm going to go back to my own selfish needs and talk up the Ascent of Board Games, which is our monthly podcast on board gaming history. We just released our Halloween episode, which is us playing through a little choose your own adventure type game called Hotel Lovecraft, which is a lot of fun. We did as Craig mentioned, we did a recent interview with Kyle Rowan of Weird Games about Vagrant Song, and it's I think ours came out first, so we're trendsetters that way. And
I recorded mine before you recorded yours.
oh, sure you did. Okay.
Well, you're so polished.
Anyway, if you like board games, we like it. We have fun.
And I did include in the episode, but Kyle at the end said, like, I don't really want to do any more interviews on any more podcasts, Craig, after I was on Tabletop Talk.
this is clearly the greatest interview.
Yes, exactly. You've peaked here.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Right.
So as our in resident board game expert, we got the spiel happening. What are you most excited that's being put out and the buzz around the convention? Is there a big game that's coming out of there that you want to get your grubby hands on?
I haven't been doing a lot of Euro games lately, and that's really the meat of what's coming out at Essen. I'm interested to see there's a new one coming out from the designer of Wingspan and Mariposas, which I'm anxious to hear about. And I'm not just saying that because she's maybe going to be an upcoming interview on the Ascent of Board Games. Maybe. I don't know, but I'm going to try.
Oh, I would love to hear you guys talk to her.
Yeah.
Greg already
trying to
talked to
set
her.
that up.
She doesn't want to do any more interviews.
She's been on my target list, so it makes
Mhm.
me excited that you guys have been discussing her coming on. That's great.
But yeah, I'm so there's nothing that is really rocking my world yet. Essen is one of those things where I really kind of have to wait and see what comes out. Although I'm really planning to go back again one of these years.
Have you been
Because
before?
I have been, and it's ridiculous.
I bet.
I mean, you've been to Gen Con, yeah?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, for those who have been to Gen Con, you have the Gen Con dealer's room, which is enormous.
Yeah.
Essen is basically 4 of those,
Oh,
all devoted to board games.
I didn't know
Whoa.
that.
Yeah, I mean, that's all there is. There's not seminars, there's not presentations,
Right.
there's not bands. It's just here are our board games, demo them, play them, try them, talk about
Oh,
them, buy
wow.
them. But it's, if you're at all serious about board gaming, it is like a pilgrimage to Mecca. You want to go at least once.
That's cool. That's cool. So Kyle in the chat says the buzz around apiary, bees in space.
Apiary looks promising.
What is
Did you say
that?
bees in space?
Bees in space, yeah.
Bees in
It is
space.
an upcoming one. Let me remember who that is from. It's from Stonemeyer, Jamie Stegmeier's company.
And they put out good stuff.
Yeah, they do. They've kind of hit or miss with me personally, but the quality is always good. Yeah, so it is basically a game where bees have taken over Earth, and they have evolved into hyper intelligent, advanced bees, and they're now developing space travel. And there's
That's
like
cool.
20 different factions. It's kind of nuts, but I'm really anxious to see about where it's going.
Very, very cool. All right, guys. You know the spiel. Like, subscribe. You can support us on Patreon. You know the whole deal. Love you guys. Mean it. We've got us coming back next month.
Mm-hmm.
Let's figure out.
No more long pauses like this one.
No, hopefully that was the end of the long, long pause. Appreciate it. Missed you guys. Howdy, friends. Thank you for watching. All our content is archived and organized in playlists on the Third Floor Wars YouTube channel. Check it out. And if you could like, follow, subscribe, and even set your notifications to this channel on YouTube and Twitch, we'd appreciate it, and it'll make sure that you catch all of our content. I talk with creators, designers, and experts across the gaming landscape in every episode of our podcast, Tabletop Talk. Open up your favorite podcatcher and search for Tabletop Talk from Third Floor Wars. Support your creators. They make the content you love, and it's your support that makes it happen. If you want to help us, go to Third Floor Wars on patreon.com, and you can help us for as little as $1 a month. Thanks again. We'll see you next time. Take care.